The Lord who delivered me from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear will deliver me from the hand of this Philistine. And so we're reading right now in 1 Samuel chapter 17. But this is what I'm speaking on today, is this next part. Then Saul dressed David in his own tunic. He put a coat of armor on him and a bronze helmet on his head. David fastened on his sword over the tunic and tried walking around because he was not used to them. I cannot go in these, he said to Saul, because I am not used to them. So he took them off. Then he took his staff in his hand, chose 5 smooth stones from the stream, put them in the pouch of his shepherd's bag, and with his sling in his hand, approached the Philistine. For the battle is the Lord's, and he will give all of you into our hands. As the Philistine moved closer to attack him, David ran quickly toward the battle line to meet him. This young boy, reaching into his bag and taking out a stone, he slung it and struck the Philistine on the forehead. The stone sank into his forehead and he fell face down on the ground. So David triumphed over the Philistine with a sling and a stone. Without a sword in his hand, he struck down the Philistine and killed him. This is what I feel like the Lord is saying to us right now. That is, the world will try and put this armor on you to fight your battles and to fight your giants, but it is not your own. It's not your armor. And trying to wear someone else's armor is only gonna slow you down. All David had was what he had already. And the greatest thing of all that he had was faith in God. And he already had this past experience with God, as God had helped him to defeat lions and bears to save that one sheep that would go away, right? David only had what he had. He had himself. He had what he knew and what was familiar with, his slingshot, right? And his faith. So when Jesus died in Matthew 12:40, it says that he spent 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. Just like Jonah spent 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of a whale. After those 3 days and 3 nights, Jesus rose from the dead, and he spent some time with his friends and disciples before returning to the Father. But before he left, he promised to send the Holy Spirit in his name to be our counselor, our helper, that would teach us all things and remind us of the things Jesus had taught. So, by our simply believing, that's it, by simply believing that Jesus was who he said he was, our hearts can be open to receive his gift of soul freedom for now and all of eternity. And now, wow, doesn't that feel good? That freedom, that love, open heart to it. And now we can ask for the Holy Spirit to come and live inside of our hearts and begin communicating and walking directly with God's Spirit of truth and grace. You don't need to go to anyone else. You can have it for yourself in the still, quiet places of your heart. All you need to do is ask. Ask and you will receive. Believe that it's done. Simply believe him at his word. That's all it takes, really. And you will actually experience this freedom. So, what I'm saying to you today is, now you can stop trying so hard to earn your worth as a human. Stop trying so hard. It's not about what you can see on the outside. oh, look, my shirt shows a little bit of my stomach. That is like unholy or whatever, right? Oh, she says a cuss word, like that's unholy. I'm sorry, it's not about all the things that we can see on the outside. It's not even about what you can do or what you've done. It's all about who God is and who Jesus is and what he's done, and simply stepping into that and receiving that and accepting that, wearing that identity as your own. Okay? But Hannah, I've made so many mistakes. I've been so hurt. I've hurt others. And I have so many regrets. That's the voice of fear and shame, right? 2 Corinthians 12, 9 through 11 says, "But he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you. My power is made perfect in weakness." What? "Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me. That is why, for Christ's sake, I delight in weakness, in insults, in hardships, in persecutions, in difficulties. For when I am weak, then I am strong." So this is who we are. Weak, yet made strong. Chosen by Christ. Chosen by God. He chose you. He chooses you now. And he chooses you tomorrow. This free gift is always available. And we are loved despite any and all flaws. We don't have to pretend to be perfect or to be someone that we're not. In fact, we learn powerful lessons by taking chances, making mistakes, and God's grace is sufficient to carry you through this entire journey of life. Don't be like King Saul, full of fear, always seeking man's word, right? Let's be like David, a man after God's own heart, a brave young man who fought his battles and fought his giants, not using someone else's armor, but using what he had and who God is, alone. Alone. Hi everyone. So ever since I was a little girl, my dad would read me Bible stories every night before bed. And in fact, he was reading me Bible stories when my mom was pregnant with me. And so it's just one of my fondest memories, and I still love to read Bible stories. So thanks for watching that clip. If you want to watch the full version or see some other videos like that, then head on over to my YouTube page, Bible Study with Hannah, and I'll keep reading you stories and occasionally saying some things. So thanks for stopping by, guys. Have a great day. I love you all.